Spencer Dinwiddie had one of his better scoring games last night for the Los Angeles Lakers against the Philadelphia 76ers. However, it has been his comments that he made about his role that has been making headlines. And Christian Wood, there is a possibility that he could make his return for the postseason for the Los Angeles Lakers. What's good, y'all, and welcome to another Lakers Digest video. I'm your host, Okechi Apakama, and before we get into everything we have for you for this video, I want to bring your attention to something. There is 80% of you guys who've recently watched our videos who are not subscribed to the channel just yet. And if you guys want more of that, Laker news, Laker reactions, trade rumors, game recaps, just every and all things LA Lakers, you guys want to come right here to Lakers Digest so you guys do not miss a moment. Now, with that out of the way, guys, let's hop straight into the topics we have for you today. So, first up here, Spencer Dinwiddie's comments on his role. So, Spencer Dinwiddie has been around the NBA for a bit, and he has garnered a reputation as a scoring point guard who can play make at a very good level. However, ever since he's come to the Los Angeles Lakers, he's been asked to embrace a new role, and that's more of a 3-and-D point of attack defender, and then a guy who can facilitate the offense when needed. So it's been a very minimized role for Spencer Dinwiddie, and he has been taking some time to get adjusted to it and acclimated to it. But he recently said some very interesting comments about his role and how he sees himself. So this is what he said to Dan Wilkie of the LA Times, and he said, "Like I said, it's technically foreign to me. From what I've done in my career, I feel that sometimes I'm Reggie Bullock role getting graded on a Spencer scale. Sometimes when I'm on a Reggie Bullock scale, no shot again, that's my dog. Like I said, he's great for us. I feel like I'm doing really well on a Spencer scale. Obviously, I'm doing poor, but like I'm also not in that Spencer position either. You feel me? I came here understanding some of what is going to happen right. I'm in good spirits and in good space. I wish we would have won a couple more games that we've dropped, but overall, the house isn't on fire in my mind. And if you wanted me to have 20 attempts or whatever, I will go out there and score 30 like you have all seen throughout my career. That's not lacking for anything. You'll see more dunks and step back threes and all the fun stuff you've accustomed to seeing from me." So that was a bit of a loaded quote there, but essentially Spencer was comparing himself to ex-teammate Reggie Bullock back in those Mavs days, where those Mavs teams that beat the Suns to get to the conference finals. So it was Luka, Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, to go along with guys like Maxi Kleber and Reggie Bullock. And those guys, Reggie Bullock, was mainly a 3-and-D guy, and he was a guy who wasn't really taking a lot of shots. So he took his shots where he can, and then he was picking up guys 94 feet and guarding them as much as the team needed that defense. And then he's kind of comparing himself to how Spencer is doing in that role, or Spencer Dinwiddie, because he was referring to himself in the third person. But so he was saying that as Spencer Dinwiddie doing a Reggie Bullock role, he was doing quite a good job. But if he was a Spencer Dinwiddie in the Spencer Dinwiddie role, then he would be doing quite poorly, as shown by his numbers, him just averaging only about 4 points per game for Los Angeles Lakers. But he is not being asked to score, essentially. So that's kind of where that delineage comes between the Spencer role and the Reggie Bullock role. So it's a very different ask from what he has to do in his career, and he has been adjusting to it, in his words, quite well. And it's actually been really showing for Los Angeles Lakers, as he's actually been one of the leaders for defensive rating ever since the All-Star break. So for all the Laker players who have played at least 7 games, Spencer Dinwiddie is the one that leads the way in defensive rating, which essentially means that in all of the defensive pairing, defensive groups, that some of the ones that are doing better, Spencer Dinwiddie tends to be in those lineups. So that is a very good thing to see. Obviously, he had that highlight block against Damian Lillard in the closing moments of that Milwaukee game a couple of weeks ago. And just what more can you ask for a guy who's been in a smaller role? And it is quite a bit of an adjustment, as Dan Wilkie went to go on and say later in that article of what he thought. And then he said that there is no shortage of confidence in the life of a role player and requires a hefty adjusting ego. It is probably why so many players struggle with it. That's why it is important that, hey, I'll do this. He totally bought into what the Lakers have asked. And as far as the ability to cook, there's going to be a moment or two where the Lakers need him to get in part of that bag. It'll be interesting to see if it is there, but I love how he doesn't doubt the offensive first part of his game and is merely sitting on ice. So that's what Dan Wilkie said about Spencer Dinwiddie and how he's been adjusting to his role and how he sees it. And like that is just right on the money there. As the Lakers, they don't really need Spencer to really show out and do too much on the offensive side of the ball, especially when you have guys like D'Angelo Russell, who's been on a heater, and then you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are offenses onto themselves, and then Austin Reaves, who has a lot of trust within the Lakers star players and also the coaching staff as well, as he's been a guy that can take up the offense as well. And then you also have Rui Hachimura, who's been really kicking guys in the butt. And so many offensive weapons that you don't really need Spencer Dinwiddie to score the basketball. That's why he's been asked to pick up some of the slack in the other areas like point of attack defense, and then also helping with guarding some of these other high-level guards, as he did it once again last night, as he was asked to guard a multitude of guys for the 76ers, guys like Tyrese Maxey, and then Tobias Harris, and then Buddy Hield, all of these guys who are all proven scorers in the NBA, and Spencer Dinwiddie stepped up to the challenge. So he's been doing that through and throughout. Hopefully some more of that offense makes his way and breaks through like it did last night. He had the 11 points and made 3 3-pointers. So if we can get a little bit more of that, I think this can change the complexion of this Lakers squad and can really soften the blow, especially not having Gabe Vincent for most of the season. But that's going to move us up to our next topic about another player who and was making a big impact for the Lakers off the bench early in the season, but he had an injury, and that is Christian Wood could make a return. So Christian Wood has been out here for a couple of weeks. We found out that he went on a knee procedure, and then he's going to miss the rest of the regular season. However, there was a report by Lakers reporter Johan Buha of The Athletic saying that there could be a possibility that he makes his return. So this is what Johan said. So he said Wood is expected to miss the rest of the regular season. However, there is a chance that he'll return for the play-in games or the playoffs if the Lakers get there, according to team sources. So this is definitely a big development and big change for the Lakers, as they could definitely use the size and definitely uses Christian Wood's ability to stretch the floor, as he gives the Lakers big man, I think, a different element and then what they have already on the roster. One, I do think Hachimura, the guy who would be probably in that spot, that he's doing a fine job of that, and he does a lot of things well and a lot of things the Lakers need. But however, Christian Wood is an extremely better rebounder than Rui Hachimura, and that is something that the Lakers have mightily struggled with, especially when they only have Anthony Davis on the floor, and he can only do so much for you, as he is one of the league leaders in rebounds in the NBA, but he has to contest a lot of shots, and that tends to be out of the area. So like a lot of times, a lot of teams would kill the Lakers on the offensive glass and getting extra possessions, because that's what the Philadelphia 76ers did last night to the Los Angeles Lakers, and it almost cost them, but they're able to scrape by with that 101-94 victory against the 76ers. But having that element and that pitch to be able to go to, especially in the playoffs, I think can be very important for the Los Angeles Lakers, because in playoff basketball, things tend to slow up, and then things like rebounds become mightily important in closing out possessions, because if you give teams extra possessions in the postseason, you are just asking to lose that ball game. But we'll see if we're going to get some more information down the road. Obviously, that's going to happen when the end of the season happens, and then we know what the final seeding is. But the Lakers currently still in that 9th spot. Hopefully we can try to move up a little bit more, because I think the goal maybe for the Lakers is possibly to get out of one of those playing games, to stay in that 7-8 game and hopefully try to win that one. But we'll see what happens to the Los Angeles Lakers. They got 12 games left on the season. Next is the Indiana Pacers at home before they have a big road trip and a big test. And the last big regular season test they'll have on the schedule. But Make sure you guys leave a comment down below of what you think about Spencer Dinwiddie's comments about his new role, and then if you think Christian Wood has a chance to come back for the Lakers this season. I have been your host, Okechi Apakama, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.